I could tell he meant it. He was absolutely convinced of what he said. I turned to Bast. Her expression had changed. She looked wounded, even grief-streaking. "What does he mean?" I said. "What did you do wrong?" "We have to leave," she warned, "or they will kill us." I looked at the portal. Carter was already through. That decided it. I was not going to be separated from him. As annoying as he was, Carter was the only person I had left. How is that for depressing? "Toss me," I said. Bast grabbed me. "See you in America." Then she chucked me up the side of the pyramid. I heard the magician roar, "Surrender!" and an explosion rattled the glass next to my head. Then I plunged into the hot vortex of sand. I woke in a small room with industrial carpeting, gray walls, and metal-framed windows. I felt as if I were inside a high-tech refrigerator. I sat up groggily and discovered I was coated in cold, wet sand. "Ugh," I said. "Where are we?" Carter and Bast stood by the window. Apparently they'd been conscious for a while, because they'd both brushed themselves off. "You've got to see this view," Carter said. I got shakily to my feet, and nearly fell down again when I saw how high we are. An entire city spread out below us. I mean, far below, well over 100 meters. I could almost believe we were still in Paris, because a river curved off to our left, and the land was mostly flat. There were white government buildings clustered around networks of parks and circular roads, all spread out under a winter sky. But the light was wrong. It was all afternoon here, so we must have traveled west. And as my eyes made their way to the other end of a long rectangular green space, I found myself staring at a mansion that looked oddly familiar. "Is that the White House?" Carter nodded. "You got us to America, all right. Washington, D.C. "But we're sky high!" Bass chuckled. "You didn't specify any particular American city, did you?" "Well, no." "So you got the default portal for the U.S., the largest single source of Egyptian power in North America." I stared at her uncomprehendingly. "The biggest obelisk ever constructed," she said. "The Washington Monument." I had another moment of vertigo and moved away from the window. Carter grabbed at my shoulder and helped me sit down. "You should rest," he said. "You passed out for how long, Bast?" 2 hours and 32 minutes, she said. "I'm sorry, Sadie. Opening more than one portal a day is extremely taxing, even with ISIS helping." Carter frowned. "But we need her to do it again, right? It's not sunset here yet. We can still use portals. Let's open one and get to Arizona. That's where Set is." Bast pursed her lips. "Sadie can't summon another portal. It would overextend her powers. I don't have the talents. And you, Carter? Well, your abilities lie elsewhere. No offense." "Oh no," he grumbled. "I'm sure you'll call me next time you need me to boomerang some fruit bats." "Besides," Bass said, "when a portal is used, it needs time to cool down again. No one will be able to use the Washington Monument." "For another 12 hours," Carter cursed. "I forgot all about that." Bass nodded. "And by then, the demon days will have begun." "So we need another way to Arizona," Carter said. I suppose he didn't mean to make me feel guilty, but I did. I hadn't thought about things through. And now we were stuck in Washington. I glanced at Bast out of the corner of my eye. I wanted to ask her what the men at the Louvre had meant about her leading us to ruin, but I was afraid to. I wanted to believe that she was on our side. Perhaps if I gave her a chance, she'd volunteer the information. "At least those magicians can't follow us," I prompted. Bast hesitated. "Not through the portal, no. But there are other magicians in America. And worse, Set's minions." My heart climbed into my throat. The House of Life was scary enough, but when I remembered Set and what his minions had done to Amos's house... "What about Thoth's spellbook?" I said. "Did we at least find a way to fight Set?" Carter pointed to the corner of the room. Spread out on Bast's raincoat was Dad's magic toolbox and the blue book we'd stolen from Desjardins.